Okay, we are live, right? Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of Cronos Stream. Right, so for those of you who is the first time joining us on our Cronos Stream AMA, right, it is a platform where Cronos will invite several Cronos projects that are building on the chain up to share about their latest updates, what's happening in their project, so that you can guys have more details about what's going on in the ecosystem. Right, so firstly, my name is Jay, and I'm part of the Cronos Labs partnerships team. And just for your info, right on the top left of the screen, you can see a QR code. You can scan the QR code to access Cronos Chain YouTube channel if you have yet to follow us, to give us a subscribe. And all information shared in the stream are meant to be only informational and not financial advice. Okay, so today you can see we have a big panel of speakers, right, from various projects. Let's go around the table for all speakers to introduce yourself, right? Maybe we can start with Ken, followed by Kit, followed by Ty Lucky, Ghost, Charles, and Wow DJ. Right, Ken, on to you.
Yes, hi Jay, hi everyone. Great to be here again. So I'm Ken, and I'm the head of Cronos Labs.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so hi, I'm Kit, co-founder of DGPals. Good to be here again.
I'm Ty Lucky. I'm the Coffee and Vibes intern, but also the content and community strategist who recently joined DGPals.
Awesome. Ghost.
Hey everybody, my name is Ghost. I'm the co-founder, one of 4 co-founders for Lab Gaming Guild, a newish guild in the space, started out at Cronos.
Cool. Charles.
Hello, everyone. My name is Charles, and I am the project lead and product manager for Cronos ID.
Cool. And Alma.
Hello, my name is Almir. I'm a founder of Wowmax.
Okay, awesome. Thanks everyone for taking the time today to come onto the stream to give all the Crow fam here who is tuning in, right, more insights into your project. Right, so for the agenda of the stream, we'll start off with Ken, giving a couple of updates and insights into what's happening, right, from a Cronos chain level. Right, then after that, each of the 4 projects would be giving a sharing about what's happening in the ecosystem. If it's the first time that they are coming up to share, right, also they will give an introduction about who they are, what their project is about, and so that all of you Crow fam can know and get a better idea of who the project is and who the team behind the project are. Right, so without further ado, I shall pass the time on to Ken, who share the latest updates about Cronos. Right, there has been many exciting things happening in the recent few weeks. So Ken, maybe on to you to share more about them.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. Indeed, since the last stream, which was 3 weeks ago, a bunch of exciting things happened. So one piece of news which is indirectly related to Cronos chain, which is that on the crypto.org chain, the proposal that we discussed last time in some detail, which was about burning about 100 million Crow per year through a new mechanism decided by the governance of the crypto.org chain. So that proposal has passed and is now being implemented by the crypto.org chain. I'm not going to belabor the point as it has been discussed extensively on social media, but if you were on vacation or under a rock for a few weeks, you can look up the recent communications by crypto.org about that. And that was, this whole process was quite interesting. Now, so I'd like to talk about a few other pieces of news, which I'm very happy to report. So the first one dates back to just yesterday. So yesterday, the city of Seoul, so the local government in Seoul announced that they are launching a new Web3 festival. It's called Seoul Web3 Festival. No surprise here. And Cronos has been chosen as the partner blockchain network for that festival. And Cronos Labs is one of the main partners to join the inaugural edition of that festival, which will include a large hackathon, a investor demo day for local startups or global startups who would like to meet Korean VCs, and various events and networking opportunities. So I think it's so that's happening at the end of July, 31st of July till 2nd of August. I think it's a great opportunity for Cronos to meet again the Korean blockchain ecosystem. There's really a lot of attention on this market right now, both because the end users are very active, and also because the developer ecosystem, particularly in gaming, is very talented and very rich. So we're very proud to have been chosen as a partner of this new event, which really marks a milestone for Seoul, right? So as a city, they want to, I mean, they are on their way and want to continue to be on their way to become like one of the Web3 capitals of the world, together with Singapore, Dubai, London, Berlin. And so I think that's very exciting, and it's going to be a great opportunity for Cronos to expand its addressable market even further, both on the user and the developer side. Second piece of news, so that's about the accelerator, the Cronos Accelerator program. So the team, the accelerator team, just announced this morning that the second cohort, the program for the second cohort, has started, and they also announced the list of startups which have been selected to join the second cohort of the accelerator. It's a very interesting cohort. All the startups here are innovative. They are truly building new technology based on a fairly solid track record as developers, and for some of them, entrepreneurs. And in terms of verticals, the startups which are shown at the top right side of this slide, span across all the verticals that are critical for Cronos. So there are DeFi projects, NFT and GameFi projects, and as well as tooling startups that provide that create technology that will make it easier for the next generation of crypto users to adopt self-custody and Web3, for example, through account abstraction. So the program is going to last for 3 months. Most of those startups don't yet have a product that is ready to be deployed on Cronos. I think the first product that will be available on Cronos is probably going to be Corgi AI. But regardless, I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to pan out during the next few months. And I'm also keen to see how these projects and existing projects on Cronos partner and create win-win opportunities for each other. There were many projects, so there were more than 300 projects that applied for the accelerator. So, many of them, most of them, of course, didn't get selected by the accelerator team. There was, I know from having spoken with the team that the selection process was nerve-wracking and very tough. There are many projects that I'm sure didn't make the list, and yet are going to be extremely successful going forward, and will be part of those disappointments that anyone in an investment role has when they make a selection and then realize that they missed the next big thing. But that's unfortunately part of the game, and I'm sure that everyone who applied for the program has a bright future ahead of them regardless. Yeah, shall I just continue, Jay? Yeah, I'll just so I'll talk about DAP. Unless you have any comment on the accelerator announcement, Jay?
No. So yeah, I mean, like what you said, Ken, the accelerator this time, very interesting projects, quite different from the first cohort, where the first cohort was actually very concentrated into gaming applications, right? So DGPals was one of the cohort participant in the first cohort. This time it's a much more bigger variety across different verticals. Very exciting to see existing partnerships form between these projects and the existing projects on Cronos. Yeah. So the next news integration about Depth Radar was a very exciting one as well. Yeah. On to you, Ken, to share more about it.
Yeah. So Depth Radar is probably together with DeFi Llama, one of the top sources of information where users go to discover new protocols, understand which protocols are or which dApps are up and coming. They are kind of the dApp equivalents of CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. And so, during the last few weeks, we've been working with Depth Radar to enhance the way that Cronos DeFi and NFT applications are integrated and shown on the website. So, of course, any project can apply to be listed on Depth Radar, but the announcement that we made recently was really about improving the quality of the information that is specifically reported for DeFi and NFT projects, given that each of those verticals should be measured according to a slightly different set of metrics, and there are specific ways of looking at volume and transaction data. So we've been working with Depth Radar to enhance the way that those reports are generated, which hopefully, I'm sure, will increase further the visibility of Cronos dApps in the eyes of the entire Web3 ecosystem. And finally, for the some developer news, so the protocol engineering team recently completed a first experiment on Cronos testnet, consisting in reducing block time, meaning the delay between each block on the chain, from roughly 5.5 seconds to 4.6 seconds. And in the coming weeks, they are going to conduct additional experiments on testnet to further reduce that block time and see how the performance of the network reacts to this reduction in block time. So what does that mean? Well, quite simply, each block contains transactions. So if you have more blocks within the same period of time, you have more transactions mechanically. If you have twice as many blocks, you can support twice as many transactions. So this experiment, consisting in reducing block time, is part of the various work streams that Cronos currently has underway to increase the scalability of the chain and support even greater transaction throughput, transactions per second. We have quite a few additional work streams going on that we talked about in recent roadmap publications. And so that's where the reduction of block time plays a role. But right now it's just on testnet, of course. And also we talked about how we are experimenting with various layer 2 technologies on top of Cronos to enable potentially game developers or other app creators to create dedicated app chains on top of Cronos. And we'll have more to say about that in the coming weeks.
All right, thanks, Ken. Yeah, so on the last two topic, the Depth Radar one, it's increasing the quality of Cronos data is actually very helpful, especially if, let's say, you're an NFT collector or investor in multiple tokens. You would always care about the key metrics of the NFT collection you hold or the DeFi projects that you invested in. Right? So Depth Radar gives you much more insightful, higher quality data points after this partnership and integration that we had with them, right? And Cronos Block Time, further highlights our commitment towards scaling, the ecosystem, increasing TPS, and it's really a grand plan towards really mass adoption, right, where it requires a higher level of skill. Okay, thanks so much, Ken, for the updates on all of the Cronos news in the past few weeks. Very, very exciting few weeks. So for now, let's move on to project sharing, right? So for project sharing, we'll go in the order from left to right, starting with DGPals, Cronos ID, Lab Gaming Guild, Wowmax. Each project will be sharing about what's happening in the ecosystem, what you guys can look forward to. And let's start with DGPals, and I'll change the screen to a more palatable screen for speakers. For DGPals today, we have Kit and Tai Lucky, who is representing DGPals. Maybe for the benefit of users, right, who might not know who you are, I think you guys are already quite popular on Cronos, but for the benefit of users who might not know who you are and might not know what DGPals is, can you guys give a quick sharing?
I guess Kit didn't want to unmute, so DGPals is a game that initially was built especially on Cronos. It actually initially was built on Binance and then moved to Cronos, based out of Singapore. The studio that's building it has been building games for years. The team is awesome. I've recently joined in the past month. Incredibly creative, incredibly capable. Recently, a game just launched, which is Merge Defense. It's more of like a tower defense. It's free to play. All you need to do is connect a Web3 wallet to the website, and you can essentially play. It's co-op. That's essentially a very, very bite-sized overview. Kit, would you like to supplement that?
No, I mean, continue with your stuff. I'll add on later.
Okay. So really, actually, as I mentioned, I joined the team about a month ago, but I met Kit in San Francisco for GDC, as well as Ella from Cronos Labs, and I believe Danielle. I might have the names wrong. I'd met hundreds of people that week. And just as a side note, the Web3 presence at GDC and that conference and the reception that it got was phenomenal. So whether we're going to see, Web3 gaming really moving the ball forward in the next 6 months or 18 months, I do believe it's going to happen. Just wanted to fit that in there. And also, I love how Ken fit in the mention of the layer 2s, and we'll be talking about it later, and, potentially helping game developers build. I thought that was a phenomenal point that some people may not have heard. So, But one thing I really just wanted to touch on was kind of how I went from being a active community member and content creator to actually working with DGPals full time, and essentially why I made that leap. Because, I mean, as many know, this space, if you can even just find a genuine person and you can actually even check that they're a real person online, you're already starting ahead of the curve there. So I was able to look up Samson. I was able to look up Kit before I even met them. Actually initially in October. And I know I'm jumping around, but it's because it'll all tie together, I promise. And the way I met Kit and Samson was actually through another content creator named 21 Million, who many people would know. And the reason I mention that is because the way I met 21 Million is just luck. I reached out to him asking when he hosted his mental health spaces so I could let my viewers know on YouTube. Really just trying to do something nice for the community that I thought needed more exposure and more people could benefit from. It's a 24-hour market. I don't need to tell everybody here how nerve-wracking that can be at times. So then I ended up meeting 21 Million in person in New York in October. Incredible. Meeting somebody in real life, these relationships that you're building, these conversations you're having with people over the internet, they are very real. These connections are very real. The hug, the embrace. Fast forward, we met Kit and Samson. And one thing that I really want to focus on, because I haven't really talked about them building games or you should go check out this website. It's because these are really good people. I said that directly to Samson. I said, you are genuine and I appreciate that. And the reason I've really essentially decided to jump from 3.5 years of project management and technology consulting to working in gaming in Web3, even though it may not be the most secure or the safest market conditions, I believe in these people. Samson asked me what my goals were in life. And I said, and I know, again, 10 different directions, but I got a short period. We're covering it and we'll elaborate later. But I said, before I go, I want to push forward the research or finding a cure for Alzheimer's disease, addiction, and cancer. And I said, I know it sounds crazy. And immediately out of his mouth is, no, that doesn't sound crazy. Let me tell you, not a soul on earth gets told that and just says, oh no, like that's normal. So I realized at that moment that Samson, you know, is a dreamer, but he, you know, nothing is too far fetched. And the reason, no, I initially was a scientist in the medicine field. So that's essentially my couple minute spiel of, I essentially was just trying to be an active and helpful community member, answering questions essentially through making YouTube videos or tweets. That rolled into meeting these people, establishing real connections. And a year and a half later, I'm now working in Web3 full time. So it may not happen overnight. And if people really want to get in this, it may not even happen this month or this quarter. But I just wanted to provide input from somebody who went from, you know, just hanging out in Discord to, you know, now working in this full time. So, and Jay, thank you for hosting this, man. You're doing a great job.
Yeah. All right. I mean, thanks for sharing about, you know, this wonderful backstory of how you, I mean, from a very big community member joining the DGPals team, you know, helping to grow the project. I think that's a very great story. Maybe for the benefit of, you know, other Crow fam, right, who might just be like in your shoe, you know, a few months ago, don't know much about DGPals. Can you share, or maybe can Kit share, you know, why should they, you know, get into the DGPals ecosystem? What can they do in the DGPals ecosystem?
Right, this is where I come in. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we are really thankful to have like people wanting to come in and contribute to what we are trying to build here. I think beyond just the games that we have launched, so far we have 4. 2 of them already went live last year in May. So we have DGPals New World, we have DGPals Legends, and right now I think you can play DGPals Merge Defense. It's actually a tower defense, one of my favorite genre. And yeah, there's no barrier of entry. Just come in, just play for a whitelist. If not, just have fun either way. Then we're gonna have DGP Plaza. So what essentially you are seeing is that, you know, we are a game project where we are shipping out all these little bite-sized gaming experiences because we believe that building a Web3 project is not something that is similar to building a game project, because normally when you're building a game project, it takes months and years for an MVP to go out. But the thing is, when it comes to Web3, I think the attention span, the desire to see something, or rather the fact that you have retail investors buying your NFT, supporting your project, you have to show something along the way, right? Because they're not going to wait like 1.5 years for something to touch on. So with that, I think we are really trying to put out like this particular new style of running a game studio, whereby you actually get to participate or witness the unfolding of a gaming ecosystem. And I think this is something that we have been working with a lot of partners and investors, and even with Cronos, trying to figure out, like, you know, how would a Web3 decentralized gaming studio look like? So with our tokenomics DGG, which is not yet launched, we intend to actually tie in the equity and the revenue share mechanism into the token itself, right? So effectively, what you are really buying into when you actually pick up a DGPals NFT is actually you are starting to build up your equity in our ecosystem, right? And I think we are looking at games in a way that we have been in games for more than 10 years, and we know that it's lucrative, right? I think in gaming, in fact, during COVID, during the recession period, even through the war, yeah, many things have went downwards, but gaming revenue continues to either stay stagnant, or if not, it's going on upward trajectory. So game is like pandemic proof, recession proof, and we think that, you know, it's something that is part of our lifestyle already. And there's no lack of people wanting to come into games, but the thing is, there are a lot of gamers, and I think decentralized gaming studio is actually one of the newest way where somebody can interact with a gaming project, right? In a way that they have never been able to dream before. Like, you can be a fan of Blizzard, you can be a fan of Riot. There's no way your voices will be heard, right, in that sense. But right now, with the decentralization model, and with blockchain technology weaved into the entire business model, it is for the first time people get to vote into things that they believed in, and they get to weigh in on decisions together with the game developers, and they actually get to have like interoperability, like the assets are transferable between the games. And I think this is really an exciting project that we are venturing into. I think this is also one of the reasons why Crypto.com backed the project at the very beginning, and of course how we get into the Cronos Accelerator first cohort. So this is something that we are really excited about, and I think that during this bear market, we continue to build. It doesn't matter whether people are interested in the games that we have, because we are here on a 5 years roadmap, and we believe that our token is going to be the deciding factor in ensuring that this is actually a new breed of company, a gaming company that people can now own a piece of. So again, just look at the games that we have built. Go to DGPals.io. There's a couple of them. Just go to our Discord. You can actually you'll be greeted with a very, very passionate group of ambassadors who are more than happy to share with you how to actually pick up your first NFT and come and buy into the project. And I think we really, really are excited about how we actually unfold this together with our 13 VCs. I think we are probably one of the most VC-backed project on Chronos space right now. And yeah, we're gonna have another mega space right after this one, and over there we're gonna unfold a lot more about how this thing actually works. Like how would the DigiPal strategy look like, right? You can go down to like granular details if you guys want, and I think this is the part where we can dive more into details, because we only have 10 minutes here, so I think Ty took like 9 or something. So so yeah, this is exciting times.
All right. Thanks so much, Kit and Ty. And maybe just some final words from you guys. Like where can let's say a user want to like fresh to DigiPals and I want to find out more, right? What's the best method for him to do so?
Right, I think I always go down to like meeting the people. So I believe that the community has been with us for more than a year right now. So they are actually more than capable in helping us onboard the next wave of people who are exploring to look into investing into Cronos projects. So I hope that you guys can actually look for DigiPals Discord, join us, have some conversation going on. I think from there, doesn't matter what your agendas is, what your desires are, I think it can be answered quite easily over there. Then from there, you are either going to be routed to the white paper that we have, or go to the website to really just have some fun. So yeah, just join our Discord on discord.gg/digipals. Yeah.
I mean, you guys can head to DigiPals on their website, and I think you can find all the links. All right, so thanks so much for sharing, Kit and Ty. Right, and I love your shirt, Ty. It's a very nice DigiPals hanging there.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, DGPals team.
Okay, moving on to the next project, Cronos ID. So Charles, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Right, thanks for coming on. And once again, right, for the benefit of users who might not know what Cronos ID is, who you are, can you give a quick sharing about yourself and the project?
Yeah, for sure. So first off, I'll just do a quick introduction of myself and our Cronos ID team. So hello, everyone. My name is Charles. I am the project lead for Cronos ID. And a little bit about myself. I first got into the crypto space in 2018. And then I actually, back then, I was working on a blockchain game and a blockchain gaming platform, just like DigiPals. But then back then it was still the very early stage of the crypto world, and then people wasn't getting too many attention to the mainstream of blockchain users. So and also the market went a little bit bearish. So our game had our highlights, but then in 2019 we slowly kind of fade away. And after that, I worked back to Web2 world and then worked in the e-commerce product. But then I always kept my eye on the Web3 world. And then last year, we saw this opportunity that blockchain crypto has brought many mainstream users' attention, including like DeFi and NFT, and many more products. So we decided, yeah, it's maybe time for us to come back to the crypto world, and we decided to build Cronos ID. And our Cronos ID team right now is around 10 people, and we are a cross-functional team that's located globally. And our teammates, just like me, are also like veterans from Web 2 and Web 3 world. And although we are located globally, but we work very close together to deliver the good product to our Cronos community.
Cool. So what exactly is Cronos ID? So I mean, some people might not know what Cronos ID is. Can you give a brief introduction about what Cronos ID is?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there are a lot of good things I can talk about of Cronos ID. I probably can go all day long, but I'll just elaborate some of the points that are introductions to our users that's not aware of our product. So Cronos ID, we launched our Cronos ID domain service in August last year. And then we saw this problem on blockchain right now is that, for example, in Cronos, you need to have a wallet and then your wallet address needs to connect it to these steps to be able to explore the blockchain world and stuff. But then your wallet address is this 40 characters long hexadecimal address. It's impossible for people to remember and then just to easily send funds to. So we thought, okay, that comes the first thing that what if we change this complex address to a human readable and easy to remember address, for example, j.cro. I can just talk to people like, hey, send some CRO to j.cro instead of just copy and paste the long addresses. So that's the benefit of owning a Cronos ID. And also another benefit is that after you have connected your wallet to different dApps, your name will only be shown as the wallet address, but then that wallet address doesn't represent your unique identity across these spaces. So that's why we offer SDK to the steps to integrate our Cronos ID service. Then when the user, which they own a Cronos ID domain, when they connect it to their dApps, it will show their Cronos ID domain name instead of their long wallet addresses. So for example, in a recent event that our partner Argo Finance, they have like this NFT auction going on. And then in the NFT auction, in the leaderboard scene, you can actually see all the winners with their Cronos ID name displayed instead of a wallet address. So that must be a pretty special or a good feeling about if you're on the leaderboard. So, and there's many more other benefits of owning Cronos ID. I won't probably go through all of them here.
Right.
Yeah,
So yeah, so like digital identities has been something that becoming more and more relevant, especially since now we are spending much more time utilizing all of this on-chain applications and being able to have a unique identity rather than just a long-form bytecode OX address, right? I think that is very valuable. So for a user who do not first time hearing about Cronos ID, what's the process, right, of getting his domain name, right? Maybe you give a quick sharing about that.
Yes, I was just about to say that. So if you haven't got your domain name yet, go on to chronosid.xyz and then search for your desired domain name. And if it's available, you can grab it with if it's longer than 5 character long, it's about $9.9 per year. And then there will be discounts if you register for longer year. And if the name is not available, you can also check it on Minted, see if it's somebody willing to sell it to you.
Awesome. So you can either mint it if it's not available, if it's still available, or if it's somebody has minted it before, you can go to the Minted NFT marketplace to purchase it. Okay. Perhaps can you share a bit more about the roadmap as well? Like, what do you guys have in mind in terms of building out your domain name service?
Yeah. So I think you can also, we have listed our roadmap on our website as well. And we are not only to aim just to provide this domain service. We are aimed to provide like the communication layer, kind of like an infrastructure protocol on the Cronos chain. To be able to do this, we divided our roadmap to 3 phases, and the domain is just the first phase that we kind of like people to get their identity on Cronos. And then gradually now we are kind of working on our second phase now, which is the notification service, which can bring let the dApps to communicate to their users if something happens to their dApps of that user. And then last phase is our messaging services, which I think it will come to a later stage when the Cronos chain grows and the user bases also grows. We can bring users social graph to the Cronos chain and then let the user enjoy this service as a whole of our Cronos ID service.
Right. Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting, especially when the multiple applications like DGPals can, Wowmax can also integrate your domain name service, integrate your social graph down the road. I think it opens up a lot of partnership opportunities for you guys as well. Okay, maybe before I move on to the next project, maybe any final words from you, Charles?
Yeah, I think it's, thanks for having me here. And then also it's a great opportunity for me to also connect with our potential partners, DGPals and Wowmax. And also the last word will be, check our website, chronosid.xyz, if you haven't mint your domain yet.
Okay. Thanks so much for sharing, Charles. Okay, so that's Charles from Cronos ID. All right, moving on to the next project. It's Lab Gaming Guild, and today we have Ghost, who is the Guild founder. So Ghost, how's it going? Give a quick introduction about yourself and about Lab Gaming Guild.
Hey there, how's it going? So I'm Ghost from Lab Gaming Guild. We're pretty new guild in the gaming space for Web3 and DeFi, so it's been really interesting, really fun journey so far. I just wanted to actually spend a couple of minutes of my time here just to shout out a few things that Ken was saying in the beginning. All those achievements that were listed from Cronos and crypto.org, basically the organization as a whole. I think you're doing a lot of really great things. Just to list a few off the top, Cronos Accelerator and onboarding multiple dozens of new projects into the space, I think is really amazing. It's letting a lot of people realize their dreams in Web3. Also constant upgrades to the chain and to the crypto.org chain. I think there've been about 4 or 5. I think with the most recent, I believe, being Galileo, bringing a lot of really good new functionality to the chain. So, thanks for that. Also, a recent voting mechanism. If people don't know about Burning Crow, go check that out for sure. And then just like the countless summits, AMAs, streams helping onboard new users to Cronos and Web3 and DeFi in general. Like I said, really think it's amazing that that Cronos is doing really all that they can to help drive Web3 forward. It's helping many people do what they want to do. So, thank you for that.
Right. So coming back to the Lab Gaming Guild, right? Guild is oftentimes a key cornerstone, a key piece of the gaming vertical of every blockchain ecosystem, right? And as most users would know, the Cronos gaming ecosystem has been growing gradually over the past 2 quarters. We are seeing more and more games, right, finally going live on the chain itself. So perhaps can you share to the listeners here, what are the different services Lab Guilds provide, and how do you guys position yourself in the gaming ecosystem?
Yeah, sure. So Lab Gaming, and I'm just one of 4 leaders. So there's myself, there's another leader named Amethyst, another one named Elite Soldier, and Joko. all four of us sort of came together at the beginning of Cronos. Back in, I think, November 2021, I believe now it is. You can find all of them on Twitter if you want to go talk to them, or join our Discord at discord.gg/labgaming. But yeah, so our founding members, right at the start, back when VVS just started, and we've been together building and experiencing Web3 together ever since. We started by investing in DGPals actually as a group after doing some research on the project, and ended up accumulating a large collection of pretty rare DGPals between a few of us. And then we figured, since DGPals also has plans to have some sort of clan system, hopefully in the very near future, we decided to create a guild and pool all of our resources together, and sort of become a force to be reckoned with in that game and within the community. However, we realize, potential of GameFi as a whole, and that being pretty niche, a niche that hasn't been filled yet in Cronos, that we believe, and other chains. So we broadened our focus to GameFi on Cronos in general. While our current focus is pretty heavily on DGPals, we have our eyes set on other play to earn games, and just games in general on Cronos, like Defira, and I think we were in Crow Boys initially. We're also in MMA, Mad Meerkats Arena, and yeah, a few others that we're also looking at. So essentially, we are just like a guild, or a group of people, a community. Our slogan is "Come for the games, stay for the people," and our main vision is to be a leader in bringing community to Web3 gaming. So we want to establish communities under one name and foster a healthy competition around a growing number of Web3 games.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for this introduction about Lab. Right. So diving deeper into how, like certain guilds, sometimes they have something that they offer to their community members. Right. Some guilds offer a community management platform. Right. Some guilds that run big scholarship system, they offer like the scholar managers, very useful tooling. Some guilds offer special boards or insights into certain gaming ecosystem. Right. So what does Lab? How do you guys how are you guys positioning yourself as compared to other guilds?
Yeah. Okay. So we currently don't have a Web3 footprint yet. We are talking internally all the time about how we can sort of get our foot in the door there. We do have a website coming up pretty soon that will enable guild members to do various things. We're always talking about ways that we can offer our guild members something a little bit unique, something tailored towards blockchain and Web3 or DeFi in general. Right now, we have our biggest footprint, I guess, is our scholarship system for DGPals. So if you have, DGPal NFTs and you don't want to do your quests, feel free to come by our Discord and drop off your team, and we will run them for you. With that said, we have a little bit of we split the profits basically between right now. Actually, 100% of it goes to our DAO system. So we are, in essence, a DAO on chain. We do have Ledger. We do have, a list of transactions and community based or. It's not community voted yet because we don't have any sort of token or voting mechanism or escrow or anything like that. But yeah, we're looking at maybe doing some sort of profit sharing in the future with members if we do mint an NFT or have some sort of token. But yeah, right now we are investing in various projects with those funds, and yeah.
Okay, I think what's interesting is the website that you mentioned, where guild members can set up a guild profile and then basically track their growth, right, in the guild over on the website. I think that's great.
So Jay has a little bit of insider knowledge because I showed him what we were working on. But yeah, so the website that we're building is going to help enable sort of like, right now it's the first feature that I'm implementing is sort of an NFT portfolio tracker that will bring in all of your wallets, and you'll be able to see some of your NFTs. I'm not really going to go into too much detail because I haven't really announced it yet, but essentially that will be the first goal of that, and then it can really, limits are endless. Really, there's really no limits. I'm a Web3 developer. I'm a web developer for about 10 years, and I'm in the gaming space quite heavily, professionally and personally. So I have a lot of developer knowledge in both back end and front end web development, as well as game design, and just starting now into Web3 programming and Solidity and stuff like that. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I think any users who are listening to the stream, or if you are watching the replay, right, and you are trying to look for a community of gamers with useful toolings to come, right, I think Lab Gaming Guild is a place that you would want to check out. Join their guild, right, see what tools they provide that gives you an edge to play games, right, like playing DGPals or playing the upcoming games that are soon to come into Cronos. Okay, Ghost, right, thanks so much for sharing about yourself and about Lab Gaming Guild. Right, and now let's move on to the final speaker and final project of the stream, right? Almir from Wowmax. Right, how's it going, Almir?
Hey, very good. Thanks for inviting.
Right,
This
thanks
is the first time actually I'm presenting the project like for the wider audience, so I'm super excited.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, and I know that you guys, I think not many people on Cronos might have heard of Wowmax because you guys only very recently integrated Cronos. So perhaps for the benefit of everyone, right? What is Wowmax?
So Wowmax is a decentralized exchange aggregator. So for people who are not very familiar with DeFi, I will just explain, so obviously almost everyone knows about DEXs, and quite surprisingly, even for myself, in May this year, so this month, the DEX volume actually exceeded 20% of the centralized exchange volume. So what we see is a clear trend that decentralized exchanges taking the volume from centralized exchanges. And the reason for that is possibly because, the DeFi infrastructure getting better, people can handle the seed phrases and private keys. And also, most importantly, the spread of the concentrated liquidity model, like Uniswap V3, which allows for the tighter spread on decentralized exchanges. Technology itself also evolving, so allows a fast and efficient transaction. So what you can do is basically you can go and trade on any decentralized exchange, and on Cronos there are more than 20 of those exchanges. So trading on the centralized exchanges basically gives you a lot of advantages, like you don't have to do KYC. You can trade any new tokens way before they will appear on crypto.com. However, the disadvantages would be that, prices on different exchanges is basically different a little bit, maybe not that a little bit, and you can actually do arbitrage. But most importantly, it's very difficult for you to go and compare prices on like 20 different exchanges. And especially, if you want to make a large transaction, then it wouldn't be profitable if you go to one DEX and execute the whole transaction. It would be better if you split your transaction into smaller parts and do exchange on all the centralized exchanges simultaneously. So what essentially Wowmax is Wowmax is a kind of like a booking.com for exchanges. So instead of like telling you what's the best night rate in the hotel in the city, we basically gives you the best exchange rate out of all available decentralized exchanges. So you don't have to split your transaction manually, which actually is not even possible. So Wowmax is currently the most efficient DEX aggregator. By most efficient, I want to say that we give the best price to the user. So out of all quite popular DEX aggregator, we're a new project, so we decided also to join crypto.com and Cronos ecosystem early, so that the users will benefit, especially users who don't really know how to trade on DEXs in the first place, so they would straight away benefit from the aggregator like Wowmax.
Right. So, I mean, thanks for giving an introduction. Right. I think DEX aggregator, it's always a cornerstone, a very important piece in the DeFi ecosystem of every chain. Right. And for the users who might not be too familiar with a DEX aggregator, right, maybe your process of swapping USDC into CRO, you would most of the time do it on, let's say, VVS Finance, right? But then there's USDC CRO liquidity on like MMF. There is liquidity on CrowSwap, Candy City, and also on VVS. Right? And I think what Wowmax does really well, it's helping you to find the best routes to give you the maximum return from swapping USDC into CRO or vice versa, or any other tokens that have liquidity.
For example, absolutely. Like, for example, if you want to buy like about like 9-10 Bitcoins currently on Cronos, if you're not using basically Wowmax, you will buy like almost 1 Bitcoin less. So, I mean, it's quite advisable to use Wowmax actually, because if you're not doing that, you're basically losing a lot of money. So, and we are not actually also competing with DEXs. Basically, we're not a competitor. We're basically a helpful tool that can generate volume to DEXs and give the value to the user at the same time. And I just wanted to elaborate on what you said. That's basically the secret how we generate the best prices is that when you, for example, swapping like USDT to BTC, we will also arbitrage a lot of other coins like Ethereum, like CRO token, because if you're making a large transaction, you're gonna cause a lot of slippage, and basically that would create price difference for all other tokens in the ecosystem. So if you try Wowmax and you can actually see this routing information, so you will be surprised how many transactions we do. It could be like 20, 30 transfers, and that's the secret how we give you the best rate possible. So
awesome. And I guess that's how you guys compete with the other aggregators on Cronos, like Kyber, Firebird. I think your proprietary aggregator makes it slightly more competitive for certain swap routes on Cronos. I think that's interesting. And I think we are slowly going towards the end of the stream. One final question to you is: can you share a bit more about your roadmap? Right? What can users look forward to in the Wowmax product ecosystem?
So basically, we would like to get a lot of audience, and what we notice that many DEXs actually that don't have a lot of liquidity, they basically cannot provide the best or even comparable rate, right? Competitive rate. So what we are trying to do is that we develop the API and we will freely distribute it, and we would like to start with the Cronos DEXs because there are 2-3 the DEXs that have been already mentioned. They have the most of the volume, while there are 20 other DEXs on Cronos chain which actually have no choice to compete actually with the rates. So we would like to give them our API, so the whole liquidity on the whole Cronos chain will be utilized like 100%, so that if the DEX cannot provide the good or acceptable rate, it means that the user will not use the DEX at all. So instead of like losing this customer, we would like to provide our API to the DEX, so they would be able to use their liquidity maybe to a certain part and execute the trade efficiently. We also believe in the multi-chain future, so we would like to do cross-chain swaps from Cronos to other popular chains. And interestingly, we recently been talking to a few big exchanges. We hope the same offer would be interested to Crypto.com. Is that we can complement traditional order books with on-chain liquidity. Like obviously on major coins, Crypto.com has a lot of liquidity, but on some exotic tokens, that might not have enough liquidity. So in that case, we can efficiently use liquidity from on-chain IMMs or other protocols, so that for the user of crypto.com it will be a seamless experience of executing the trade using both on-chain and off-chain liquidity. Because in the future, to be honest, the border between those approaches will become thinner and thinner. So that's basically our roadmap.
Okay, thanks for sharing that, Elmer. Yeah, maybe any final words that you want to say before I wrap things up?
Thank you very much for invitation, and I would like to, be engaged with your community deeper and deeper. We would like to extend our offer for like partnership and integration to the other projects that are present today, and visit us at wowmax.exchange. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So for those of you who are looking for DEX aggregator to check out, right, Wowmax is one of them who has recently integrated Cronos. Okay, thanks so much, Elmer. So we have about 3 minutes more to the stream. I'll just ask a few questions that have been asked on the comment section or on the Cronos Twitter. My first question is from Francis. I think it's directed to Ken. Is there a projected date for the Cronos rollout?
It's too early to tell, and there will not be a single roll-up. It will be more like a toolkit of solutions that app creators can leverage to build their own dApp chains on top of Cronos. So in many cases, the chain itself will not be branded as a Cronos chain. It will be powered by Cronos, but branded as the chain of the app creator. So no time frame yet, but stay tuned.
I think a lot of research is being done in order to make sure that execution is smooth. Okay, I think that answers Francis' question. Right, looking at the YouTube comment section, a question from Scoos Bootset, targeted at Cronos ID. So he has a Cronos ID and CNS, which is the other name service on Cronos. He don't know what's the difference, right? So maybe Charles, in perhaps a minute, can you share the differences between you and your competitor?
I guess in a sense, we are very similar, but also in a sense we are very different, because at the end of the day, we provide kind of the same services, but then by the end of the day, it depends on the partners and the integrations that we have. And currently, I think Cronos ID has almost gotten to pretty much all the big dApps that on Cronos. And then we are also trying to expand our partnership to other wallet apps. Currently, we're starting off with Crypto.com DeFi wallet, and then we are in talk with other wallet providers to integrate our services. So that, I guess, it's the major differences between us.
Okay, so it sounds like the partners that integrate you guys. Okay, so I'm looking through the comment section. There isn't really much questions, but there's a lot of love shown for all of you guys, for like DGPals, Wowmax, for Lab, right? I think Ghost, you have a big fan as well, Cronos ID as well. So great to see all the Crow fam giving you guys a lot of support. I think we have come to the end of the Cronos stream, right? So thanks you to all the speakers for coming on today to share about yourself and the project. And thank you to all Crow fam and audiences who have tuned in today. We do this once every 2 to 3 weeks, so be sure to follow us on Twitter and YouTube to be updated on the next stream. Right, thanks everyone, right, and take care.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Jay.
Bye.